Hello, hello. Welcome, brides. We're so happy to have you here. We hope that this is finding you well, that you're healthy, you're safe, and you're at home. Hopefully you had a wonderful day outside. It was a little chilly, but still beautiful. And we're glad to have you here joining us this evening. And we wanted to introduce you to not only an amazing baker, but a very good friend of ours that we absolutely love and adore. We wanted to introduce you to Michelle Adams, and she is with the Sugar Path Bakery, but she's not in Pittsburgh. She is in Geneva, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. And but we're thrilled to have you. Thanks for being here, Michelle.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and I thank you for the warm welcome. And I love being here, and I love both of you so much. So
we love you. And even though she's not local, it's amazing how much information I know and so much value that Michelle's going to bring to us today. And that's why we had her on here. And she does have some unique items within her bakery that can go international even, but nationwide. So she ships all the time. And there's some great things we're going to talk about later on too, about some things that can help you out with your wedding, help you out with gifts for birthdays, anniversaries, coming in even more and more valuable during this time where we're not able to go out shopping and shipping as much. And so you've been doing some amazing work in the community, both in Chicago and around the United States. And so we're thrilled to have you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk to your viewers today.
I know. Well, let's tell them a little bit about who you are and how you got into this business and how passionate you are about baking, because you are, and you're so good at it.
Oh, well, actually, I didn't start out that way. I was raised in a small town by grandparents that truly thought food was love, and that's what they taught our entire family. In fact, my grandfather, when he retired from the Army, he was in the Army for 40 years, and I think he just wanted a little peace and quiet, so he turned his entire plot of land into a beautiful oasis of orchards and gardens, and he just grew everything. And my grandmother cooked it all. She'd can jams and jellies and tomatoes, and she was her family was from Italy, and so they just believed in feeding everybody. And that's how we were raised. We were raised that, food is love. And, my sister and I, when we went off on different professional careers, we started to get together and bake. And kind of like just as a way to do something together as a hobby, but also because, we both worked in different professional careers that were stressful. I worked as a lawyer. My sister worked as a mental health counselor. And we would get together, we would develop recipes, we would bake, cakes and scones and all different kinds of things. And that's how this whole venture started, was that we, started to grow our little hobby. And we said, hey, we're baking so much. Let's try to sell some of our stuff, because our family's tired of tasting it and eating it.
You can send it anytime.
So let's just, go sell something at the farmer's market, because, our grandparents used to sell at the farmer's market, and that was a natural progression for us of our hobby. And so the first season that we had our business, we really just started as like a hobby where we were selling at a farmer's market. And then the next season we said, oh, we sold a lot. Let's sell at 3 farmers markets this season. And that's what we did. And that's how we grew the business, because at some point we had to decide, are we going to grow this business that's really taking off and that we really enjoy, or are we going to end it and, not sell anymore? And we both were very passionate about what we were doing. We love to feed people and help people. And we noticed that we were developing a following and got really close to our customers. And so we decided that yeah, we're going to grow our business. And that's what we did. We did it while we're still working different careers. And then after a period of time, we left those careers so that we could grow our business, become full-fledged entrepreneurs, and definitely threw caution to the wind and just said, let's just go do it. And that's how we started the Sugar Path, was that we just did it. You know, and
your grandfather's vision of food is love, and he kind of had a different end of it, and then your grandma mixed it in together, and you and your sister have created this other entity from all of that tradition and heritage. That's so awesome.
That is awesome.
We really did, and it was really fun over the years, just a way to connect with all of our family as well, because when we were little, our grandparents really united all of us. And after our grandparents passed away, the family kind of, went their separate ways, as often happens when you lose your grandparents. Oftentimes the extended family doesn't get together anymore. But we noticed that when we opened our shop, our extended family would come to support us. They would come visit, and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to come for some cupcakes. Are you going to be there? Let's visit. And they would come to the shop, and, uncles and aunts and cousins and, second cousins. And so it really was like a family event, because everyone in the family and the extended family got really excited about what we were doing and coming to see us. And so it really was a way for us to keep the family united, in addition to getting new family, which, we think of as our customers. Our customers get very close to us. They come and they talk to us. And so we really have now a huge Sugar Path family, as we like to call it.
Awesome. Is there a special cookie or cake or something that has been passed down that you're using a little bit different than you would normally find in any recipe book? Is there any family cookie, or so to say, maybe?
Most of the recipes that we have at the Sugar Path were created by my sister and I. Some of them were created by our head pastry chef that has been with us for 5 years now. But as far as like the family, I would say probably it was more technique. It was not necessarily the recipe, and that's what we do teach baking classes, from time to time in the shop. And what we like to tell our students is that it's not necessarily the recipe that you use. It's it's both your technique that you use, and it is your ingredients that you put into the recipe that make things unique. Because if you open up a recipe book, for instance, for chocolate cake, you might find that same recipe for chocolate cake in 1,000 different places, on the internet, on people's blogs, all over. Because really, what can you put into chocolate cake to make it different? It's mostly the technique that you use, and it's what you put inside for your ingredients. Like if you notice, like if you're making chocolate cake, if one time you use Hershey's chocolate and the next time you use Ghirardelli's chocolate, it's going to taste totally different. And that's really what makes the difference. And that's what we learned from our grandparents, because they would take what they grew outside and they would bring it inside. For instance, my grandma taught us how to make pies. And my grandfather would grow the cherries on his cherry tree. We would pick them. We would immediately bring them inside, pit them, and use them in our recipe. And it would make the most amazing cherry pie ever, because it was fresh. And that's what mattered, is the ingredients is what matters.
Right.
Which is why at the Sugar Path, we actually don't, our customers know us. They know that you can't find cherry pie in the winter at the Sugar Path. We only bake with the seasons. So when cherries are in season, we'll make cherry pie. We don't use canned fruit. So our customers have come to know that about us, and that's why they love what we make, because it's always fresh.
Right. Fresh ingredients in anything make a huge difference. It is unbelievable.
It is. It is. I know we do a here we have a local farm that sells this essential box of food every day now. And I went, and I guess I bought it a couple weeks ago during the beginning of the quarantine, and they had 2 young hens in it that were never frozen, and they included all the rosemary and everything to put into it. Most delicious chicken I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I had no idea it could taste this way, but it was because it was all fresh. And I just, so I understand that.
So for our brides, so you're going to want to look for a bake shop that does fresh ingredients, because it will make a huge difference. So and for anybody who's watching, if you have questions throughout this live stream, please put them in the comments. We will see them, and we will try to get them answered as quickly as possible if we can. And if we happen to miss them or we can't answer them live, we'll get back to you. So feel free to ask any questions about anything regarding bakery and cooking and for your wedding. I'm looking for your cake or your cookie table or whatever it may be. So I think we had talked a little bit, Michelle, about sharing what are some of the latest dessert trends in the wedding world, because that's always a fun Pinterest board for me. I do like it. It goes hand in hand with my wedding dresses, but I do like to look at the Pinterest board for all the beautiful cakes and the different trends, because they do change. So if you could share with us, what do you see going on, and like what are some of the trends?
Yeah, Pinterest is definitely dangerous. So we do get into different trends. Over the last few years, we've seen a transition away from, for instance, in the past, when we first started our business 10 years ago, we saw a trend for very large tiered cakes. And then they got away from that for the trend, went to smaller tiered cakes at first with a rustic style, and then with a what we call a naked cake. So it doesn't have any frosting on the outside of it, or a bare minimum of frosting, just enough to keep the cake together. That's called semi-naked. That actually is still one of the most popular cakes that we do, is the semi-naked cake. However, in the last, starting at the end of the last season and into this season, what we're seeing is tiny desserts as a trend, unique desserts, so something different, and then a smaller tiered cake, like a small 2-tiered cake for a cutting cake. But along with your sweets table of tiny desserts. And the most popular thing that we do for weddings is definitely the smaller tiered cake with a sweets table. And that sweets table will have cookies, something that we do called shot glass desserts, and tiny pies, along with mini cupcakes. So those 4 things are the most popular things on the sweets table. Once in a while, you'll get people who want the bars, because we do great lemon bars and brownies as well. But they're really all about those shot glass desserts and the tiny pies. I mean, those have been really, really popular. Anything unique and tiny for this season is what's in trend.
Okay, that's interesting. That has changed a lot more than what I've been seeing. A lot of, I think, more of the semi-naked cake still on Pinterest. It comes up a lot. So, but some of these little pies, and it's fitting into the more of that rustic, even the industrial themes, which in Pittsburgh, there's a ton of these beautiful barns that they've glammed up that brides are using. So we're getting into some more of the city areas where they're doing a little bit more industrial, keeping it kind of basic with twinkle lights, and then you kind of put your flair and bring in your look to it. And so, yeah, these tables are definitely coming together. I love it. I love it.
What flavor are mini pies? Like, what can you make? I guess you can make any pie small, but what's like your most popular flavor?
It's going to depend on the season. In the summertime, it would probably be our berry pie. We do a 3-berry pie that's really popular. It has 3 different berries in it: strawberry, raspberry, blackberry. That's really a popular pie in the summer. But typically people want a choice. And you can give your guests the choice because everyone has a different palate. So they're not going to like the same thing. So we always say, offer, if you're going to go with pies, choose at least 2 different flavors so that you make sure that you offer your guests a choice of flavors. So maybe something like a berry pie along with a pecan pie would be very popular. We do something called Cowboy Pie. It's similar to the texture of a pecan pie, but it's got walnuts and it's got chocolate, and then we add a little bit of whiskey in there. And it's just really,
Yummy.
It's a great pie. People really like that one. Key lime is always popular. Banana cream or chocolate cream are really popular. And then if you go into the fall season, apple's usually number 1. And there's lots of versions of apple. You can do like a apple cranberry, or a caramel apple is one of our popular ones in the fall. So there's lots of versions of apple that you can do. And then of course, pumpkin, people love pumpkin pie in the fall. So
it's endless. It sounds endless.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
There's endless choices.
I need to start going to more weddings.
I know. We always say, can we come to your wedding? Because
I got to start buying little pies, or at least a half a pie, because I want to try a little bit of every. So
me too.
Amazing.
I know. Okay, fantastic. So these little tables of desserts with different flavors and some combinations, so that it's really attracting all of the people at your wedding and giving everyone something that they probably are going to like. It's hard not to like any of those, but I don't usually have too many desserts I don't like.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say the cupcakes are still one of the most popular things that we do in our shop. That's how we actually started our business. We started doing cupcakes. Okay. And it's still to this day the most popular thing. And on a sweets table, it's still a really popular item. But mini cupcakes on a sweets table, because what you're thinking for a sweets table is you're thinking tiny desserts, and you're doing, usually you go in, you look at your guest count, and you say, I have 150 people. How many desserts should we have? We typically say it depends on, is your family a sweets family or is it not? If it's a sweets family, then you're going to want a minimum of 3 sweets per person. Mm-hmm. I've had people who said, yeah, my family is like, give me all the sweets and then they're doing 6 per person.
Okay.
But some people come like, no, my family's not a sweets person. And we'll be like, okay, 2 per person. And then they call us up at the wedding and said, we should have listened to you because they ate everything. So we say a minimum of 2 to 3 pieces per person. And then you have to adjust that depending on if you know that your family really likes sweets and you want some left over to take home. Because if you want some left over, you got to do more than 3 per person.
Yeah, most definitely. And with the cookie table here in Pittsburgh, I know we love our sweets in this part of the area. So you can even mix in some cookies around all of that good stuff and even more of a variety. So if they're doing all these little mini pies and mini cupcakes, do they still have at least one round cake that the bride and groom will still cut, or they just is that kind of going away?
Typically they always have a cutting cake. Always. And it will vary from either, just a single tier, small little cake to cut into, or they'll do a small 2-tiered cake to cut into, but typically there's always something. We've even had people who do pie weddings. Pie weddings are gaining more popularity where they just do pies, either tiny pies where it's a single serving of pie, or pie buffets where they cut, slice the pie into slices. Mm-hmm. And some of those couples will do a cutting pie where it is a pie that they cut into because they just really like pie. So
that's cute.
I love it. I love it. That's so great. So, all right. Those are some great trends. I'm definitely going back to Pinterest to take a look and see what's going on out there. So, sounds delicious. And then are you finding that these pies are still real popular for the showers?
For the showers, people will do typically a shower cake, and then perhaps mini cupcakes and cookies.
Okay.
Pies are not as popular for the showers, and it's just probably because the showers are smaller events, and a cake is tradition. Yeah. But it could be a cutting cake with, again, like a smaller cake with cupcakes and cookies. A lot of times for showers, people want the decorated sugar cookies, maybe, with like in the shape of a dress or ring or, something decorated is what's nice. And then we also do, like, one of our shop favorite cookies is called cracked sugar. It's a sugar cookie. It gets all kind of crackly in the oven, and then we top it with buttercream when it comes out of the oven. And it is really the most popular cookie that we do in our shop. People really like that cookie. So that is popular for both weddings and showers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
That sounds delicious, and I'm starving. This is not a good time to talk about pastries.
So we've been talking about your shop in Chicago, but how do we in Pittsburgh get some of this?
Well, we do ship. So,
that's really good to know right now.
Yeah. In fact, if you go to sugarpathshop.com, you can see all the items that we do ship. We ship cookies, a lot of our different types of cookies. And we also ship our cake jars, which is also another item that we do as a unique item for favors for weddings. We have cake jars in 2 sizes, 4 ounces and 8 ounces. And sometimes people will opt to do the cake jar instead of a dessert. They'll do a cake jar because people can take it home with them, and they do, they either can eat it there if they want to, or they can take it home with them, because a lot of times at the weddings, they've had a big meal, they're drinking, they maybe bypass dessert. And, with a cake jar, you don't have to worry about that, because it's going to be both a favor or a dessert right there at the wedding. So it makes a lot of sense to do it like that. And for the cake jar, it's just, people always say, what is it? It's layers of cake and frosting in a jar. So the jar is portable. You can take it with you. We ship them all over the country, and we ship them as gifts to people or people wanting a dessert care package, especially right now where they're social distancing. They want dessert to come to them. And so we ship it right to people.
They are lovely little packages too, how you put them all in a box with a little bit of stuff in them, and the boxes are beautiful. And I've seen people who have gotten them for birthdays and for certain kind of congratulatory celebration, and they're stunning looking and delicious looking too. And they taste delicious also. Everyone raves about them. So those are fantastic. I love these cake jars. They're a great way of doing shower favors, wedding favors, and even just the dessert part of your dessert table too, which is fantastic. And it can come to Pittsburgh. Woohoo!
Definitely. And
black and gold ones and Steeler colors and
we could do that. We can do that. We've done Cubs ones from Chicago, so I'm sure we could do whatever color you want.
There you go. There you go. We're all ready for the sports to come back. Baseball's not starting.
Yes.
Football's trying to do a draft virtually, and the Penguins are praying that we can at least go for the Stanley Cup.
Yes, I know.
So we're all ready. So, well, you've been doing something unique with these beautiful cake jars, and I'd like you to just share with everyone, because this has been such a wonderful thing for the community. And just you and your sister, I know, just love people and you love to give back. And so share with us what you're doing right now.
Well, what we're doing is something called Cake Jars for Caregivers. So this started about a week or 2 ago, where we decided that, people were ordering cake jars for caregivers. And so we one of our customers contacted us and said, hey, I want to send some cake jars over to the local hospital here. How can we put something together? And I said, well, why don't we, if we can get people to order them, place orders as a donation, we'll bake them up and we'll deliver them to the hospital. And so people have been putting orders in to us for cake jars, and we take them over to the hospital and give them to the caregivers. And last week we actually did a run where we delivered 420 cake jars over to the hospital. And we had people sending us messages who got them, and they actually, because you have no idea, like sometimes when you get just a little treat like that, it brightens your day. It makes all the difference in the world. And, the messages people were sending to us, like nurses on staff and doctors, they said, we were the recipient of one of the jars, and we just wanted to let you know it just made a difference. And, it to us, that was just a way that we can give back by, coordinating this, because people in our community are donating them. But to coordinate this, it means a lot to us because we just wanted to try to give back as much as we could. So that's been really just something that we've done, and that's made a difference, seeing people, just smile, and it bring, a little bit of happiness to their life.
That's so wonderful.
That is great.
We'll, if anybody wants, we're going to put the Sugar Path Bakery's Facebook page and website below. If you go onto the Facebook page, you'll see pictures of Michelle delivering these bags of cake jars to the hospital, which is amazing to just see and to watch. And that if anybody here has any desire to send gifts to caregivers or send gifts to their loved ones that they haven't seen for anniversaries, birthdays, or just to say, I love you, I'm thinking of you, you can do all that here too and have it shipped in. So. Oh,
absolutely. We just sent some cake jars to Mayo Clinic. One of our customers has a sister there, and, she wanted to get her some cake jars. And that was actually a giveaway from us to send it to her. So, we were happy to do that. And, if anybody wants to coordinate in their community cake jars for caregivers, we'd be happy to coordinate this with you as well.
That's fantastic. What a great opportunity for people to be able to bless others and for you to help them out. Thank you so much for that. That is so amazing and wonderful. So heartwarming. And we need that today. Everybody needs that today. And when you give, sometimes you actually receive more blessings than when you're on the receiving end. And so it works both ways. So it's amazing. It's awesome. Awesome. So I love this food is love. I love this bakery shop. We love you to death. We have not met your sister yet. I'm looking forward to one day meeting your sister. So we were supposed to go to Chicago in March for Bridal Market, and we're looking to meet up, but that unfortunately did not happen. So
we'll do it in the fall for sure.
We'll have to wait. Yeah. We just won't get to see the river turn green unless they decide to have it in the fall. Maybe they'll turn it orange for pumpkins.
Well, there are days where it's still green, so don't worry.
You're not missing much. That's all right. You can Google it. So, but thank you for joining us. As of right now, I have not gotten any questions. So anybody, if you have questions for Michelle, you feel free to reach out to us. We will put all of her information in the comments below. You can reach out directly to her through her website, through DM. We are here for you. We love you all to death, and we hope that this is finding you happy and safe and well. And if there's anything we can do for you, reach out to us. But Michelle, thank you once again. This was so much fun. It always is.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
We'll make dinner because we're starving.
I know.
All right, everyone. If you need us, let us know. We're here for you. And thanks again, Michelle.
Bye, okay. Bye. Bye.